Sometimes villagers wake up, already cursing players under their breath, all because of these damn thieves, who barge into villages without warning and strip the place of all its wood. They don't give villagers a second thought. After getting what they want, they even trample the crops on their way out. But despite this, villagers can only silently clean up the mess, because they know all too well what happens when you anger these players. To rebuild their homes, the librarian suggested gathering some wood, but they quickly fell into despair when they found all the trees around the village had already been chopped down by players. Only one lone tree remained across the river. The three of them rushed excitedly toward the tree, but the very next second, it suddenly shattered. Looking down, they saw two mining players who happened to pass by. They casually chopped down the only tree left, leaving behind three poor villagers. Looking up, they saw a rather eerie forest, but at this point they had no other choice. To get wood, they had to risk venturing in. This forest was different from normal ones. White mist hung everywhere. Strange sounds echoed from time to time. The villagers didn't dare linger. After gathering wood, they planned to leave right away. But just then, leaves suddenly started floating on the path ahead. The eerie atmosphere sent chills down their spines. Even creepier, the flowers along the path suddenly lit up like lights, glowing with a dim yellow light. Something was definitely off. The villagers didn't dare stay a second longer. They picked up the pace as fast as they could, trying to retrace their steps. But unfortunately, they quickly got lost in the forest, unable to find the way out. They thought they'd rest under a tree for a moment, but suddenly, creatures called Children of the Forest appeared behind them out of nowhere. Then without warning, they attacked. The sudden ambush terrified the villagers. They ran for their lives with everything they had. But to make matters worse, the commotion woke up even more Children of the Forest. Villagers started getting captured one after another. Their group of 5 was down to 3 in no time. Watching their friends get captured one by one, the villagers had no choice but to save themselves, just as 2 of them finally reached the forest exit. The Children of the Forest blocked their way. Strangely enough, they captured all the intruding villagers, but spared the farmer standing before them. Perhaps their goal was to let one villager escape alive, to warn the others back home, to never enter this forest again. But to their surprise, the farmer turned out to be quite loyal. After calming down, he quietly snuck back into the forest, determined to rescue his friends or die trying. Just then, a falling fish from above pointed him in the right direction. Looking up, he saw his friends hanging there. But at such a height, no matter how much he jumped, he couldn't reach them, so he told them to wait there, while he went to find help. While passing a tree stump, he spotted a familiar iron axe. This immediately put him on alert. He had a bad feeling about this. There was a campfire up ahead. It was probably those guys. When he got closer, he found the axe's owner as expected. A squad of pillagers had set up camp here. The pillager captain stepped forward and gave orders for tonight's mission. They were to eliminate the Children of the Forest at all costs. The first step was to find a way to destroy their grayish tree of life. Their plan was to use fire. No tree can survive a raging fire. As countless flaming arrows shot into the forest, the entire forest was soon engulfed in flames. As the fire continued to burn, the tree of life finally exposed its life core. The captain immediately ordered his men to destroy it. This was the lifeline of the Children of the Forest. Naturally, they would fight back at all costs. As Children of the Forest, their skin was impenetrable. Even the sharpest axe couldn't hurt them at all. They weren't afraid of fire either. Their only weakness was the life core on the tree linked to each of them. The pillager captain quickly grabbed his most efficient axe and chopped down a life core from the tree. Then he crushed it with all his might. The corresponding child of the forest couldn't stop him in time and was destroyed along with it. Using this method, they used axes to easily smash the exposed life cores. Within minutes, the pillagers were on a rampage, destroying countless Children of the Forest. Meanwhile, back with the villager, the forest fire quickly spread to where he stood. He quickly pulled out pumpkins and melons, using their moisture to shield himself from the flames. The Children of the Forest saw all of this. They realized the villager might have a way to stop the fire, so one quietly approached him from behind and immediately showed friendly intentions, then proposed working together to take down the pillagers. The kind-hearted villager didn't hold a grudge. They shook hands and he agreed. After all, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. The villager then used paper and pen to explain his firefighting plan. The child of the forest was deeply inspired. To ensure the plan's success, he voluntarily freed the captured villagers. The farmer then explained the situation to them. The other villagers all agreed to help fight against the pillagers, and so, with the Children of the Forest's help, 3 villagers were lifted to the treetops. Just as a pillager was about to destroy another life core, a bucket of cold water poured down on him. The villagers stood on the treetops, throwing all sorts of items down, hitting the pillagers on their heads. This forced them to temporarily retreat and flee quickly, and to completely break the pillagers' morale. The villagers cleverly arranged food to form a scary face. Then using a fishing rod, they made it dart around the pillagers. The unknown always brings extra fear. If your food suddenly grew a creepy face, you'd probably run away, just as fast as they did. Even the pillager captain was consumed by panic and fled along with them. But just as the Children of the Forest and villagers thought it was all over, the fleeing captain seemed to hear the villagers making noise. So he immediately stopped his fleeing men, grabbed a flaming crossbow bolt from one of them, and shot it at the treetop. The burning flames quickly revealed the villagers hiding above. The pillagers immediately understood. It was all just the villagers playing tricks. Realizing they'd been fooled, they charged back to protect the villagers. The Children of the Forest helped them escape, But this time, the captain didn't chase them. Instead, he targeted the immobile trees and cores, because destroying them would eliminate the corresponding children of the forest. Meanwhile, the children of the forest had brought the villagers to the barrier. For them, there was an invisible barrier here. They couldn't leave, whether alone or with help. The child of the forest pushed the farmer outside, telling him to leave with his friends. But just like before, the farmer was a loyal man. He couldn't just stand by and watch the pillagers destroy his friend, watching his friend struggle in pain before him. Suddenly, from somewhere, he found courage. He threw caution to the wind and charged forward, then pulled out his only iron tool from his bag and ran at the pillager captain with a fierce look. His aggressive stance made the captain step back in shock. But when the farmer saw the axe in his opponent's hand, he suddenly calmed down and quickly backed off as the pillagers laughed. But the captain would never have guessed that this was the villagers' real plan. He sprinkled bone meal from his bag onto the life core. The next second, the tree began to grow rapidly. The corresponding child of the forest also started expanding rapidly. In the blink of an eye, it became a 100-meter giant. The pillagers had never seen such a massive creature. Every step it took shook the earth. A single swing of its arm could wipe out pillagers in batches. But this guy truly deserved to be the pillager captain. He quickly figured out a way to turn things around. With a clear goal in mind, he was no longer afraid. With agile movements, he dodged several attacks in a row. Then by jumping repeatedly, he reached the giant's shoulder. Now he just needed the right moment to destroy the life core in front of him and take down this giant. But although his plan was nearly perfect, the farmer wasn't going down without a fight. He timed it perfectly and threw out some bone meal. The bone meal quickly grew the branches, and the falling branches wrapped tightly around the pillager captain. Even with all his skills, he had lost all means of resistance. He could only accept the child of the forest punishment and was mercilessly thrown into the sky. In the end, once again, only the pillagers got hurt. Through their bravery and kindness, the villagers formed a deep bond with the children of the forest. Just then, 2 more players showed up at the worst time. But this time, someone was there to get payback. The child of the forest hung them upside down and shook out the wood they'd stolen from the village. The villagers got their stuff back, and the 2 players were shoved back into their cave, sending them right back where they came from. Through their bond with the children of the forest, they became the village's new guardians.